What up, y'all? The Jeff Wilson here. Now, as y'all notice my YouTube channel, I've been doing a little bit of different stuff. Been slacking on it more than anything. People keep asking, what's going on in the fish room? You haven't made many posts on there. And when we do, we see more and more empty tanks. Well, I do have a lot more empty tanks and missing a lot of tanks. But through life, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I gotta figure out what's best for myself and how I can provide for myself. Unfortunately, the fish aren't providing me financially what I need. So I am dismantling the fish room. Am I getting out of the fish hobby? No. I am still gonna keep probably 3 or 4 tanks. But I am moving them back into the house. Hate having to do it, but because heck, it's a great hobby. I love the fish hobby. Lots of fun. Met lots of cool people. Still, hopefully, can hang out with them guys. Granted, I did miss Aquashella. I hated that, but work comes first, and I gotta be able to provide for myself and my wife. Saying that, I gotta make some changes in the fish room. Let me show you what I'm going to build today. With Texas Laser Worx, I do a lot of sewing leather patches on the hats. Of course, this one's just riveted on there, but that is my main source of income. And right now I have makeshift tables. The sewing machine's just randomly out here. I have nowhere to organize stuff. What we're going to do today is build a counter and work area for the sewing department. Now, what I have in mind is I'm going to come off a few inches off the wall, come out here about 5 foot. This end will probably be about 40 inches tall, have a drop down, and then a 2 foot wide table going all the way back here. I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to go back yet, but that's what we're going to start on making. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to figure out what spacing I want for this top part of this counter over here. Because right now, I'm not quite sure how wide I want this, because you guys, like, I'll be back in this area and I'll have another counter going off that way. I was thinking about roughly 2 foot wide, because that'll give me plenty of working space, plenty of room back here to sit here, have my computer, deal with customers as they're walking in. And should give me plenty of room back here with this embroidery machine or sewing machine where I can place it further back. So I think that's what I'm going to essentially do is make this, well, I'll do 2 foot in between here, and then shooting off, this will be a full just 2 foot wide. So this is going to be roughly the width of the 2x4s plus the 24-inch gap. Now the way I am doing this, I am having to bust out the pocket hole jig from Craig. So, makes pocket holes extremely easy. Just need to do these others and the other side. Now we have our basic frame built for our end piece. Now it's time to make the L shape and go on down that direction. Now we have our basic framing done. Back here is going to be my little cubby hole from my computer and whatnot, right by the front door. Now it's just time to get some plywood to cover all this up. As you see, we now have the top part of our counter down and also the bottom. We're about to make the facing for all this. It is coming along nicely. Just wait till you see what I have planned for the top of the counter. Now that we got the main part of our cabinet built, it's time to go around and do all the trimming so I can prep everything for the top. So I just got some basic trim from Lowe's. I'm going to go through and staple this all on, and I will be leaving this a little above this plane for our countertop. As you see, I do have a little lip all the way down this. So that way my countertop will work on what I'm going to try to do with this. Now I know all y'all are watching this. Jeff, what the hell are you doing over here? This is not the correct way to build this desk or counter that you got going on here. Well, what I'm actually about to do, I have roughly about a 1/4 inch all the way around, and I'm going to do an epoxy pour for the countertop. I figured it'd be something a little different. Do I know exactly what I'm doing? No, I don't. This is my first time to ever try something like this, but everything's fairly square for the most part. It does have a little bit of wave over there. I'm not quite sure what happened on that, but it's probably just where the two pieces came together and I just didn't get something right off in this area. But now I'm about to do is go through and put some caulking in all my seams, and I do got to build another dam for that side. But let's get ready to do epoxy pour on this. So for our countertop, what I have is some SRC epoxy deep pour, and then just some dyes for it. This one's liquid, these are powder. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do my design on here, but this is also a first for me. I've never messed with any of the epoxy deep pour, so it's going to be a good old time. Now with this deep pour epoxy, it mixes 1:1. I'm not quite sure how much I'll need on this since I've never done, so I'm just going to do 8 cups at a time. And to start off with, I'm just doing a black dye to get a black base on this. Now I could have went through and painted this black to help out, but I had white paint laying around, and I was going to do a white on there, but I changed my mind last minute, so it is what it is. So we'll pour these. And we'll get our black dye in there. We'll mix this up real good, let it sit for a minute so let the air bubbles get out, and then we'll sit here and start pouring it on the counter. Now this is a self-leveling epoxy, so it will level out as I am pouring this. Now I'm going to end up being a lot more looking at this already before I even pour, but that's no problem. This has a 45-minute work time, so. And I'll just keep mixing this up until this whole counter is full and it's almost flush with the little lip I have on here. Now, on my tabletop, I'm not going to lie, I way underestimated how much epoxy I'm going to need. I got 4 gallons on this, and I probably need another 2. So we're still going to keep moving forward because what's done is done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this torch and go around and pop out all the air bubbles. You just got to make sure to keep this moving. And this is probably the fun part of it. Now on this next part, I have some green mixed up and I have some pearl mixed up. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go around this and just randomly pour, and hopefully make some cool, and hopefully make some cool patterns. For this last part, I'm going to take my heat gun and blow this around a little bit to change up the pattern and hopefully get something that looks more unique. But I need to change out the tip. I now have all this epoxy on here. I'm gonna have to sit here and wait about 2 to 3 days. I am gonna have to order another set of epoxy because I'm about a gallon and a half shy of being where I need to be. But I'll come back through, sand this, or scuff it up, should I say, and then reapply just to clear over it. That way it's all nice and smooth and level with my edge and everything's level where it should be. But live and learn. Like I said, we all make mistakes. This happened to be one of mine.